Hey everyone, welcome back. Master Intimacy. 5. Secret Stoic Positions Uncovered. Stoicism. What if I told you that the ancient Stoics, those legendary philosophers who conquered empires and built civilizations, had secret wisdom about intimacy that could transform your relationships forever? Not the kind of intimacy you might be thinking of, but something far more powerful. The intimacy of truly knowing yourself and connecting with others on the deepest possible level. Today we're uncovering 5 secret Stoic positions, not physical positions, but philosophical stances that will revolutionize how you approach every relationship in your life. These aren't just theory, they're battle-tested. Principles that worked for Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, and they'll work for you too. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll understand why the Stoics believe that true intimacy starts with mastering yourself, and how these 5 positions can help you build the kind of deep, meaningful connections that most people only dream about. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, we dive deep into ancient wisdom that actually works in the modern world. Today's topic might surprise you. We're talking about intimacy through the lens of Stoicism. Now, when most people think of Stoics, they picture emotionless robots who suppress their feelings. That's completely wrong. The Stoics were actually masters of emotional intelligence and human connection. They understood that true intimacy, whether with a romantic partner, friend, or even yourself, requires incredible strength, wisdom, and emotional maturity. I'm going to share 5 secret Stoic positions that will transform how you approach relationships. These aren't just philosophical concepts. They're practical tools that you can start using today. We'll explore Position 1, the vulnerable fortress. Position 2, the present observer. Position 3, the accepting mirror. Position 4, the honest communicator. Position 5, the detached lover. Before we dive in, if you find value in this content, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more ancient wisdom for modern life, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. All right, let's uncover these secret positions. Position 1, the vulnerable fortress. The first secret position is what I call the vulnerable fortress. This might sound like a contradiction, but it's actually the foundation of all Stoic intimacy. Picture this: Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, writing in his personal journal, his Meditations. He's not writing about military, strategy, or political power. He's writing about his fears, his struggles, his attempts to become a better person. He's being completely vulnerable with himself. The vulnerable fortress is about building strong emotional walls while keeping the gates open to the right people. Seneca put it perfectly. It is equally faulty to trust everyone and to trust no one. The Stoics understood that true strength comes from being selectively vulnerable. Here's how this position works in practice. Inner strength. You develop an unshakable core through self-reflection and acceptance of your flaws. You know who you are, warts and all. Selective openness. You don't share your deepest thoughts with everyone, but you're completely open with those who've earned your trust. Emotional resilience. You can handle rejection, criticism, or loss without being destroyed because your sense of self comes from within. Let me give you a modern example. Sarah has been hurt in past relationships, so she's built walls around her heart. The vulnerable fortress approach would have her working on herself. First, understanding her patterns, healing her wounds, building genuine confidence. Then when she meets someone worthy, she can be authentically vulnerable without losing herself. Most people get this backwards. They're either completely closed off or they overshare with everyone. The Stoics found the middle path, strong enough to be vulnerable, wise enough to choose carefully. This leads us perfectly to our second position, because once you've mastered being vulnerable from strength, you need to master the art of presence. Position 2, the present observer. The second secret position is the present observer. This is where Stoicism meets mindfulness in the most powerful way possible. How many times have you been in a conversation where you're physically there, but mentally you're thinking about work, or what you're going to say next, or that argument you had yesterday. We've all been there. The Stoics recognized that true intimacy is impossible without presence. Epictetus, who started as a slave and became one of history's greatest teachers, understood this deeply. He taught that we can't control what happens to us, but we can control our attention. He said, "Wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants." The same principle applies to relationships. True connection comes not from having many interactions, but from being fully present in each one. The present observer position has three key elements. Attentional control. You train yourself to be fully present in conversations. When someone is talking, you're not planning your response, you're actually listening. Emotional awareness. You observe your own emotions without being controlled by them. You notice when you're getting defensive, jealous, or anxious, and you can choose how to respond. Curiosity over judgment. Instead of immediately judging what someone says or does, you approach them with genuine curiosity about their experience. Here's a simple exercise you can try tonight. In your next conversation, focus solely on understanding the other person's perspective. Don't try to be right. Don't try to fix them. Don't even try to relate it back to your own experience. Just observe and understand. It's harder than it sounds, but it's incredibly powerful. I remember a conversation with my partner where they were stressed about work. My natural instinct was to offer solutions, to fix the problem, but I caught myself and shifted into present observer mode. I just listened, asked curious questions, and held space for their experience. The intimacy that emerged from that simple shift was profound. This position is especially crucial in our digital age. We're constantly distracted, always multitasking. The Stoics understood that attention is our most precious resource, and giving someone your full attention is one of the greatest gifts you can offer. But presence alone isn't enough. Once you're truly present, you need to master the third position, how to reflect back. What you observe without trying to change it. Position 3. The accepting mirror. The third secret position is the accepting mirror. This is perhaps the most challenging for most people, but it's also the most transformative. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does, but only to what he does himself." But here's the deeper truth. When we do look at others, we must see them as they truly are, not as we wish they were. The accepting mirror means you reflect back to others exactly what they show you, without distortion, without trying to fix or change them. You become like a perfectly clear mirror, showing truth without judgment. This is incredibly hard because we naturally want to change people. We see their potential, their flaws, their mistakes, and we want to help them become better. But the Stoics understood that this desire to change others is often about our own ego, our own discomfort with who they are. Here's how to master this position. Radical acceptance. You accept people exactly as they are right now, not as they could be or should be. This doesn't mean you have to like everything about them, but you see them clearly. Non-reactive reflection. When someone shares something with you, you reflect it back without adding your own interpretation, judgment, or advice unless specifically asked. Emotional regulation. You stay calm and centered even when someone is showing you parts of themselves that trigger you. Let's say your friend is complaining about their job for the 100th time. Your natural instinct might be to say, "Just quit already," or "You always complain but never do anything about it." The accepting mirror approach would be, "It sounds like you're really frustrated with your work situation. What's that like for you?" Some people think this makes you passive or enables bad behavior. That's not true. You can accept who someone is while still maintaining your boundaries. You can see clearly without being a doormat. Here's what's really happening. When you become an accepting mirror, you create a safe space for others to be authentic. Most people spend their lives hiding parts of themselves because they fear judgment. When you offer acceptance, they can lower their guard and show you who they really are. I've seen this transform marriages. When one partner stops trying to change the other and instead becomes an accepting mirror, it creates space for genuine intimacy. The other person feels truly seen and accepted, which paradoxically often leads to positive change. but change that comes from within, not from external pressure. But acceptance without honest communication is just people-pleasing. That's why the fourth position is so crucial. Position 4, the honest communicator. The fourth secret position is the honest communicator. The Stoics believed that truth is the foundation of all meaningful relationships, but they also understood that how you communicate truth matters enormously. Seneca wrote, "Let us speak our minds and let us say everything, even though it may not be suitable." But he also said it should be done with wisdom and timing. The Stoics weren't brutal truth-tellers. They were skilled truth-tellers. The honest communicator position is about finding the balance between complete honesty and compassionate delivery. You tell the truth, but you do it in a way that serves the relationship, not just your need to be right. This position has 4 key elements. Radical honesty. You commit to telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable. You don't lie, manipulate, or hide important information. Timing and context. You choose the right time and place for difficult conversations. You don't ambush people with truth bombs. Emotional regulation. You can discuss difficult topics without becoming reactive or defensive. Constructive intent. Your goal is to strengthen the relationship, not to prove a point or win an argument. Here's a simple framework for honest communication. 1. Check your intent. Are you speaking to help or to hurt? 2. Choose your timing. Is this the right moment for this conversation? 3. Use I statements. Focus on your experience, not their character. 4. Be specific. Give concrete examples, not vague generalizations. 5. Listen to their response. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. Let me share a story about a client who mastered this position. Jake was frustrated because his girlfriend was always late. Instead of passive-aggressive comments or angry outbursts, he used the honest communicator approach. He said, "I want to talk about something that's been affecting me. When you're late to our plans, I feel like my time isn't valued. I know you don't mean it that way, but that's the impact it has on me. Can we figure out a solution together?" Many people avoid honest communication because they fear conflict or rejection, but the Stoics understood that avoiding truth creates more problems than it solves. Relationships built on lies and half-truths are fragile and ultimately unsatisfying. Here's the paradox. The more honestly you communicate, the more intimate your relationships become. When people know you'll tell them the truth, they trust you more. When they know you can handle their truth, they feel safer with you. This connects back to the vulnerable fortress. You need to be strong enough to hear difficult truths and secure enough to speak them. Honest communication requires courage, but it's the only path to genuine intimacy. But there's one more position that ties everything together. The most advanced and perhaps most counterintuitive of all, position 5, the detached lover. The fifth and final secret position is the detached lover. This is the most advanced Stoic position, and it's often the most misunderstood. When I say detached lover, I'm not talking about being cold or indifferent. I'm talking about loving someone so deeply that you can let them be exactly who they are, even if that means losing them. Marcus Aurelius practiced this with his own children. He loved them deeply, but he also knew that he couldn't control their choices or their fates. He wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together." The detached lover position means loving without possessing. You love someone for who they are, not for what they give you or how they make you feel. Accepting impermanence. You know that all relationships change and end, and this knowledge makes you more present and grateful. Non-attachment to outcomes. You don't try to control how someone responds to your love or what they choose to do with their life. Full presence. Because you're not attached to specific outcomes, you can be fully present with whatever is happening now. This might look like supporting your partner's dreams even if they might lead them away from you, loving your children while accepting that they'll make their own choices, being fully present in friendships without needing constant validation, caring deeply about someone's well-being without trying to fix their problems. This doesn't mean you don't have preferences or boundaries. You can hope for certain outcomes while accepting that they're not guaranteed. You can love someone deeply while also knowing when to walk away if the relationship becomes unhealthy. Here's the beautiful paradox. The more you practice detached love, the more intimate your relationships become. When people feel that you love them without trying to control them, they feel truly free to be themselves. And when someone feels free to be themselves, they can love you more authentically in return. I've found that this position transforms not just romantic relationships, but all relationships. When I stopped trying to control how my friends, family, and partner responded to me, I became more relaxed, more present, and paradoxically, more lovable. This position embodies the core Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control. You can control how you love, how you show up, how you treat others. You can't control how they respond, whether they love you back or how long they stay in your life. These 5 positions work together to create what the Stoics would call the good life, a life of deep connection, authentic relationships, and inner peace. So there you have it, the 5 secret Stoic positions for mastering intimacy. 1. The vulnerable fortress, being selectively open from a place of strength. 2. The present observer, giving your full attention to others. 3. The accepting mirror, reflecting people back to themselves without judgment. 4. The honest communicator, speaking truth with compassion and wisdom. 5. The detached lover, loving deeply without trying to control. Here's what I want you to do. Pick one of these positions and practice it this week. Start small. Maybe focus on being more present in one conversation each day. Or practice accepting one person in your life exactly as they are. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these positions resonates most with you? Which one do you find most challenging? Share your experiences. This community learns from each other. If this video helped you understand intimacy and relationships in a new way, please give it a like and share it with someone who might benefit. And if you want more ancient wisdom for modern life, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Remember, the Stoics weren't trying to eliminate emotion or connection. They were trying to master it. These positions aren't about being perfect. They're about being intentional. Every great relationship is built on the foundation of 2 people who have learned to know themselves and love wisely. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.